Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Harley Nouveau, if you did not know. And this is another stunning episode of Beauty and the Tea with a straw. Because I have a lipstick on and I don't want to smudge it. I have iced tea in here, but without ice, so it's not that good. But you take what you can. So a couple things before we get into this. As I'm sure you can tell, I do have a full face on. This is from my review of the Jeffree Star Thirsty palette, which I am currently working on right now and should be up in a couple of days. A little sneak peek for you. Secondly, I do have a few announcements for you guys, my loyal followers, all 20 of you. So before I get into this, as always, on Beauty and the Tea here, we spend the first half talking about me, because it's my channel, and not yours. And then we get into the actual tea that you guys came here to see. And today that tea will be about Tati Westbrook and James Charles. But let's talk about me for a minute. Last time I was speaking to you guys, I let you know that I had moved, as I'm sure you can tell I'm still there, so I haven't moved. However, I did lose my job. So I am currently unemployed, looking for employment. And that has thrown a bit of a wrench in my plans. I don't know if I've really gone on to talk about my thoughts on life. I have this like love-hate relationship with it because it feels like every time things are starting to go well for me, a wrench gets thrown into the gears and everything just becomes a hot mess. So for those of you who don't know, I was working for a family member of mine, and I'm not close with my family at all, like maybe 2 people, and the rest have never really had a relationship with me. So this was kind of like stepping out on a limb to take this job in the first place. And things went south between me and my father, as you might have guessed from my last video where I said I'd been dealing with some stress from my father. And because of that, my family member that I was working for decided to fire me. So, yeah, love that for me. I do want to take a moment to say, if there are those of you out there who are struggling with personal hurdles, and you feel that there are people in your life who are doing nothing but making those hurdles greater for you to jump, it's okay to let those people go. There are people who come into your life and they are there from beginning to end. They are there from chapter 1 all the way until the ending. And there are other people that come in for a moment, that are there briefly. They are there for a chapter or 2 and they play their part. And sometimes somebody's role in your story comes to an end, and that's okay. So with all that sentimental like hogwash out of the way, let's get into the tea. Oh, this looks terrible, the straw here. So for those of you who don't know and who haven't been keeping up with the beauty guru community, Tati Westbrook is one of the most popular beauty gurus on YouTube, along with James Charles, but we've already talked about him. She is known for her rather straightforward informational take on beauty. She does videos. She used to do them every single day. Now she only does them 3 times a week, but they're very just, she talks with a super calm voice. Today we're gonna take this brush and we're gonna use it. Oh, I love how that turns out. That kind of thing. It's weird because she's kind of like the mom of the beauty guru community, if I had to like make some type of analogy. And she is also known for a few other things. One of those being, she has her own line of vitamins and health products. And I want to say it's called Halo Beauty. I can't remember the name of it. I really should start doing some research before I start running off about things. Halo. And it's a line of like vitamins and supplements that are supposed to help you with your skin, your hair, all that jazz. I think that they're cruelty-free, they're like all natural ingredients, I can't remember, but I know it was this big thing. And she is close friends with a few other people in the beauty community, Jeffree Star being one of them, and James Charles being the other most notable one. And they were both very supportive when she launched her brand, and if you watch her videos, she is always giving positive reviews about their products. I do want to take a moment to say that she does at least specify going into it that there's going to be some bias present because she does know those people. So, you know, you have to appreciate that at the very least. But she's always been very supportive of these other 2. You might be curious as to where the drama comes in here. So the other day on her social media platform, I believe it's Instagram, but it could have been Snapchat on her story, Tati did a update where she was crying, talking about how much she was betrayed and hurt because someone very close to her that she's always supportive had not been supporting her. She didn't name any names, But people are pretty smart and intuitive, and it didn't take much digging to figure out that it was about James Charles, because immediately prior to her posting this, he was on his Instagram story talking about Sugar Bear vitamins or something like that. Yeah, look him up. And he was talking about how amazing they had been for his sleep. The reason that this is a problem for Tati, and the reason a lot of people are upset, and there's two different sides of this, and I'll talk about both, is that apart from being at her launch, I don't think I've ever seen James talk about any of her products. And the same goes to her other friends. She's always talking about theirs, but it doesn't seem like they're really supporting her when push comes to shove. And when he apologized for upsetting her, James, on his Instagram story, he made up some tale about them helping him with security, and that's why he was talking about Sugar Bear, and he uses Tati's stuff every single day, but this was specifically just related to that, and it wasn't paid, and yada yada yada. And of course, nobody believed any of that. He put ad on his original video, so duh, it was paid. Yes, it kind of boils down to Team Tati versus Team James, but it also boils down to like one specific issue, and that is as follows. Is it ridiculous that somebody who is in her late 30s is crying about being backstabbed by somebody who is 20-ish years old when it comes to a paid sponsorship, which allegedly it was, but... Or does she have some valid points to feel hurt by the whole fiasco? You have people who think that it's completely unreasonable that she is this upset by it. Nobody ever asked her to support their products. No one's paying her to support their products. She's doing that of her own volition. Maybe she's reading too much into their friendship than the other people had read into it. She can't expect them to have to support her to the same extent that she's supporting them. You also have the people that feel like James has talked about how Tati is like his extra mom, and he's always featured in her videos, and they're always collabing, and it seems like they have a legitimate friendship. And it makes sense that somebody who is legitimately friends with somebody else would feel hurt whenever it seems like that person is not giving the same amount of effort back into the friendship. I can kind of understand the line of reasoning behind both. And I can't honestly tell you where I would be at if I were in either of their position. Actually, I can, I lied. I'll tell you where I'd be at. Actually on Team Tati with this one. Yes, she's 37. Why is she friends with somebody who's 20-ish? I don't know. I've been friends with somebody who is in their late 30s, actually 37. I don't feel like, for the most part, age is something that is a valid excuse to define your friendship with somebody within reason. Obviously, somebody who is in their 20s is not going to be as mature as somebody who's almost 40, but they're both adults. Okay, so like ages aside, let's say that she was the same age as James was. How would you feel about it then? Would you still say it's not a huge deal and she's overreacting? Because I feel like, maybe I'm being presumptuous, if you viewed yourself as being friends with somebody, because regardless of how we interpret their friendship, clearly to her and to him, based off things they've said, they're closer friends than just acquaintances through the beauty community like Jeffree and Nikki Tutorials. If you were really close friends with somebody and it felt like not only were they not really being supported, but they were actively supporting your competitors, wouldn't it upset you? Obviously, you don't go into a friendship with somebody expecting something back other than friendship. At the same time though, I feel like friendship is more than just saying you're friends with somebody, it's supporting and loving somebody. Maybe I'm being too sentimental. And when I have a friend that's doing anything, I'm always like, oh my god, go check this out. And I don't even mean on social media. I'm like, you go. Yes, thrive, sweetie, yes. I'm not like, let me show up the first time they mention it and never again bring it up on my channel. Ultimately, I don't feel like it's invalid or inappropriate for her to feel the way that she feels. Because whether he asked her to or not, she is always supporting his stuff and they are supposed to be friends. And whether or not you think Halo Beauty works, he was promoting a product that was her direct competitor. Having a specific kind of makeup doesn't prevent you from having other ones. People have multiple foundations, they all do the same thing, they all have different finishes, but it's a matter of preference and you can change it up on the daily. When it comes to makeup, I can always mix this palette and this palette and this palette and nothing will really be affected. None of their bags will be stopped. I can actually have all three, as you see that I do. When it comes to like vitamins and supplements though, you're not really supposed to like mix and match. extensively, because that can affect your actual health. Like, let's say you're taking a hair, skin, and nails vitamin from one brand. If you mix that with another brand, you're going to be overloading yourself on those vitamins, or vice versa. If you are kind of alternating which one you use, it's not going to work properly. Things are usually formulated to work a very specific way, especially when it comes to chemicals and things like that. They have a very delicate balance that can be disrupted. If you are somebody who is taking Halo Beauty, odds are that's probably the only thing that you're taking, and that should be the only thing that you're taking, because using something else can disrupt the process. So him promoting a different vitamin essentially means that he is promoting not using her products, if that makes any sense. I have literally not once, apart from the grand reveal, ever seen James Charles mention Tati's line, ever, anywhere, with the exception of that one video where they had the trivia game and they were guessing who was the CEO of their own company. So, like, not only do I think that they're completely two different subjects, apple and oranges, when it comes to makeup and beauty and healthcare, makeup and healthcare. It's not even an equivalent example, because he hasn't been supportive at all. Not just as much as her, like, at all. Like, it'd be one thing if he were out there talking about Halo Beauty and then occasionally he mentioned something else. I would at least give him some credit, but he's not doing that. I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is probably gonna come back to bite me in the ass one day. I say that like I'm gonna be somebody one day. If this ever comes back to bite me in the ass, I'm sorry. In the past video where I talked about James Charles, I mentioned that I have a love-hate relationship with him. As time is going on, it's getting harder to like and support him, because I'm really just feeling like he's making choices that are revealing some deep character flaws that I don't think I can really get behind. For instance, and I know that Tati did this by talking about it, but she didn't name names. People just assumed. He has a very bad habit of every time he's getting upset, he kind of sticks his fans on people, or he blasts people in public. I mean, look at the interaction that he just had with this boy that he was supposedly secretly dating. Like, in the gay community, it is very well known that you do not out people. Like, you are not, it's taboo. You are not supposed to out somebody without their permission. Like, it's just, it's gross. It's not it. It's not the tea. And he, like, completely outed this guy, and the guy is facing severe backlash because after a month of talking to James, he decided he wasn't interested in him, and he's completely, like, valid in feeling that way. He doesn't have to like him. But now this boy, and I can't remember his name, I want to say it's like Gage Gomez or something, he's getting death threats. And this isn't the first time this has happened with James. I don't know if maybe it's a maturity level issue. He just doesn't handle his business well. Like, he's always whining, he's always blasting people, he's always acting petulant. He threw a big fit about that girl who got the Netflix special. It's just, the behavior is starting to be a problem for me. I'm not gonna sit here and presume to say what's inside of James's heart or, like, the intention behind all of these actions. It's just, I feel like he's becoming a toxic person. Maybe it's his celebrity status and his following getting in his head. I don't know. He's gonna probably end up getting himself canceled if he continues down this path. I mean, I get that he's only in his, like, I want to say he's, like, literally 20. I could be wrong. I get that he's pretty young, but the time has come and passed for him to grow up as a person, and I feel like he's just not getting the memo, if that makes any sense. That's my thoughts on that. I understand where Tati's coming from. I think she's valid in being upset. I think that he hasn't been supportive. Maybe crying over it was a bit much. Maybe the way she went about talking about it was not the right way. Maybe she should have called him privately. But I understand where she's coming from. And I gotta say, I'm a bit disappointed. I say like I'm invested. I don't know these people. If you have separate thoughts, if you don't agree with me, if you do agree with me, or if you just want to let me know your take on the whole thing, feel free to comment down below how you feel about this. Do you even care? You don't have to. As always, I want to thank you guys for stopping by and watching this video. If you have not already done so, feel free to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Feel free to ring the bell so that you will be notified when I upload on my channel. That is another chapter closed. So, as always, I am Harley Nouveau, and until our stars next align, bye-bye.